What drew you to Aboriginal art?
I was looking for a way to collect, but also a way to check out of the current contemporary art world at the time. I had felt like it had become a moment of personality and money and very little to do with the art world that I love and have embraced for over 40 years. But I can't not collect. It's just not possible for me. And I was in Australia because I've been making wine in Australia. This year will be my 20th vintage. And somebody, actually a very well-known curator down there, Rachel Kent, who is the chief curator at the ICA in Sydney, said, are you looking at our Aboriginal art? It's the best thing we have. And I said, I've seen some of it. It wasn't very good. And I've been looking at tourist art. And of course, it's really tricky when you don't know a field to separate the wheat from the chaff. And so she sent me to the New South Wales Gallery, which is kind of their metropolitan in Sydney. And you go down into the basement because unfortunately the basement is where they keep the Aboriginal art. And you look at it, I turned the corner, there it was, and it blew my mind immediately. And I was like, oh, this is the good stuff. Oh my gosh. And I got on the plane that night because I had gone down there to make the wine. I flew back home, walked in that apartment to see my wife, Deborah. And I said, you're not going to believe what we're going to do next. I mean, it was literally like a light switch. I desperately wanted to collect something. I needed a break from the contemporary art world that you've been a huge part of for decades, that I've been a huge part of for decades. It just wasn't there for me for the first time in many, many years. And this worked for me. The work happened to be very underappreciated at that time. It's starting to become more appreciated. I like to think we've had a little bit to do with that. And I'm not afraid to have the courage of my convictions. If I find something that I think is really special, I might be wrong, but that won't stop me. And we wound up amassing a collection of about 400 of these works in about 8 years. I would just, I would buy something every week, whether I needed it or not. That's always how I've collected. I bought over 2,000 works of art in my life, more than a lot of museums. And it really just felt good to me. And I began to develop a theory about what we were going to do. We put the work on the road. We had 3 separate museum quality shows, go to 16 different museum venues, 3 catalogs, 39 scholarly essays. I'm an obsessive guy, and I used that opportunity to be obsessive.